You know, they'll be able to make the argument, those who fight for, dynamic scoring paying for this, that we got a great GDP number today. It was much better than we forecast, and we're suddenly at a 3 handle, which is round about where the president promised we would be. Now, we know that that's not a yearly GDP growth figure, but that could be an argument, no?
Well, what would be the argument? I mean, if you think that the GDP growth is already going to be 3%, then the dynamic scoring, I think, goes the opposite way. That is, if we're already growing and are approaching full employment, how would we increase the growth rate after passing this tax cut? So I think the proponents are going to have to make an argument that we're actually still in a recession, that the growth is not as good as it looks, the unemployment rate is not as solid as it seems, because otherwise you would fear that having a big fiscal stimulus through a tax cut would be inflationary. Well,
according to the chart that we're looking at right now on the Bloomberg GDP, the actual number is going up, and we've passing 3% for the quarter. The Atlanta Fed's GDP now cast is actually coming down. But Austan, what about then the debt ceiling and that drama? Because that also has to be resolved. I saw some estimates, I think it was Michael Feroli's in JP Morgan saying that October 13th was the last day, like that was D-Day, at which point the US will default. No one is really saying the US is going to default. But are you giving it any kind of a chance at all?
Well, oh my God, I hope not. That would instigate the largest financial crisis probably in the history of the world if the U.S. Treasury defaulted for no other reason than either stupidity or stubbornness or something, that we could pay the bills, we just choose not to. I don't think that it's going to come to that. That's different than the government shutdown. I think Mitch McConnell will find a way to raise the debt ceiling. It may be in the dead of the night. It may be attached to some other thing. But I do think there is a decent chance that they get in a fight about the budget and have a shutdown of the government. But I don't think the debt ceiling will actually end up being a terrifying thing, because in the end, Mitch McConnell could go get a lot of Democratic votes for a debt ceiling increase if he's willing to make a compromise.